Okay, we are going to talk about something very special today. I've been thinking about this for several months, and my good buddy Matt, I envisioned him watching this video. Maybe he can watch from above, I don't know. We're going to talk about the top 20 saves for my first 2 years on the job. Now, this job is not as easy as people think it is. I have over 100 kids between birth and 8th grade to look after. I have to memorize all their schedules, where they come, when they come, where they go, how they go, who some of their parents are, because if I have a kid say, "Did you see my mom?" I gotta be able to say yes or no. Parents say, "Did you see my kid?" Not yet. I have over 16 buses plus 3 schools within walking distance. Plus I have elderly, disabled. I have to memorize where everyone's going to go. I have to memorize what time they're going to be there. I have to stand on the exact corner at the exact time to get the right person. And you can't do it entirely. There's always going to be, you're on one corner waiting for one kid, another kid shows up, or 2 kids show up at the same time going in different directions, but you try to do as much as possible, the 90th percentile. I have to stand up 3 hours a day, hour and a half morning, hour and a half afternoon. I have to face the intersection constantly. I have to look up and down the roads to see what's going on, blah blah blah. I have to watch out when emergency vehicles pass, which happens all the time. I gotta make sure the road is clear for them if I can. Now, when an emergency vehicle comes, this 30 carbine is going to be cars. Okay, now what car? This 30 carbine is in the car. Now, these white lines are pretty good white lines. They represent where you stop when the traffic is stopped. You know, red light or whatever. There's actually a street light from a pole over here extending to the middle of the intersection of the street light. And that street light is what controls the traffic. It's a 4-way light, you know, red, yellow, green. What happens is, if there's a red light here, these cars are stopped here, these cars are stopped here, red. There'll be an opening here and here. Let's assume an ambulance is coming. Cars are here, stopped at red. Cars are here, stopped at red. The ambulance will cross over the double yellow line, come down, and go this way. I have to stop the cars on green. I have to literally say to them, "You stop," point and stop. So the road will be frozen, and vice versa. The cars will be stopped here for red this way. They'll be stopped already. And I stop the cars on green, and the emergency vehicle crosses the double yellow line and goes around. Now, myself is going to be represented by the 45 ACP. Pedestrians are going to be the 40 caliber. These are kids, pregnant women, elderly, disabled, whoever. The 30 carbine laying down is going to be all vehicles, trucks, buses, whatever the hell. Okay, now, these are the 20 most memorable saves that I have done over the course of the first 2 years. Now, what I do is, if I'm in the street, I actually have to wait for the light to stop if I can. If the light's green, there's no one coming for a mile, I get the kid across. But try to make sure there's a red light or the light's green with no cars coming. You stand here, I'm out towards the traffic, the kid is inward, and I'm protecting the kid from the intersection traffic. I'm not responsible for anybody past 8th grade unless they're elderly, disabled, or accompanying a child. So if I have a high school senior with their little sister, yeah. I'm also not responsible for suicidal people. If you feel that you need to run in the middle of the road on a green light and get hit by a truck, that's your business. I'm not required to save you. Now, the first save we're going to talk about is very, very early on in the morning of the first year. There's a girl This is her. 40 caliber is her. 45 is me. I'm bringing her across the street this way. Now the street here is red. This is green. Now we're crossing on a red light. We have the right of way. This car is driving on a green light. He has the right of way. Left turn. Now I was right next to the girl, right here. I held the stop sign up, and I stood there and stopped him. Now I am almost certain he would have stopped without me being there. I am like 99% certain. If he did hit her or me, he probably would have done a little bit of damage, maybe a broken bone, not a whole lot of death. But I stood in the middle of the road and did not move while a 3,000-pound car came this way. And I did not move. This is a very, very important milestone for me because this proved to myself that I had the balls to go that distance, to cross that bridge. I would save someone and I would put myself in danger. This has to be included in the list. This girl is now a high school freshman. I'm no longer responsible for her. If I see her, I'll say hello, but except for the winter or real bad catastrophe, she's on her own. Oh, by the way, this is a driving school. There's a fence here, a couple empty parking spaces. The driving school's back here. This is an auto body and fender guy. He has mostly a lot here, and his store's a little inward. This is an apartment building with a basement with a ground floor bar and laundry. It burned down last summer. It is now just sitting there abandoned. This is an apartment building with a pharmacy in the basement. Yeah, so, and I made a video where I talk about 4 of my saves. They're all included in this list, by the way. And I'm like upper right, lower right, upper left. I was like really messing up with it. Really stupid, like. Okay. Now, this year, beginning of the year, in, I want to say September, October, there's a grandmother and her granddaughter. They're over here. They want to go that way. Light is green, changing to red. Car is coming. I know when the car is going to beat the light. Car's not going to stop. She goes out. I actually put my arm up and shove her back. She actually tries to keep going, and I shove her again, and then she looks up and sees the car. This woman was going to walk in the street with her granddaughter with the car coming because she didn't want to pay attention to where she was going. And even after I grabbed her, she still wanted to keep going. Here's the issue. If I am touching your body, in particular if I'm touching your torso, and if you're a woman that has breasts and I'm touching your upper torso area, there's a reason for it. Because I cannot just touch you for fun. So if you see me grabbing you, pushing you, pulling you, yanking you, there's a damn good reason for it. Now, this issue was in September, first week of school. I had a kid running 3 blocks. I ran out, grabbed him. He almost went into Main Street. I had to grab him. He probably would have killed himself. We're running Main Street with a green light. The car's coming. Now this kid had walked away from, let's assume it's his mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. And he had made it 3 blocks. And I had to call dispatch. And by the time they came, dispatch was already en route. So I had to detain them at the scene for the patrol car. Patrolman gave him a talking to and they went on their way. But this 3-year-old kid was going to run right in the middle of the friggin' street unless I grabbed him. That was also very memorable, has to be included. And there were cars coming both ways, red, green light, stuff like that. This happens in, I think it was May, late May, early June of this year in the afternoon. A woman is walking across the street with one of those laundry cart things. You push the laundry basket, yeah, because the laundry mats are on the street and they have to go walk to them. There's no laundry mat in the apartment buildings. She is not paying attention to her 3-year-old kid. She's not holding his hand. And when they get to about here, this is red, this is green. When they get to about here, the cars are in the road, and the kid tries to walk out into the road. Had I not been there to grab him and yank him back, that kid would have been in the middle of Main Street, if not dead, by the time she realized it. And I grabbed him, pushed him back towards her, gave her a real stern look, and she started paying attention. This year there was a bicyclist, we still use the .40 caliber for him, an adult man on a bicycle going this way. There was a school bus turning this way. I think the bus might have seen him, or he might have been on the bus's blind spot. School buses have blind spots, ladies and gentlemen, and if you're near them, you're going to get hit. I think he might have been on the blind spot, but the bicyclist tripped and stumbled and almost fell on his face, and the bus was coming around the corner. I was on the sidewalk, and I halted the bus. If the bus driver, if this guy was on the blind spot, the guy would have fell head first, and the bus would have took his head off. Scary shit, right? This was in the morning this year, past year, second year, towards maybe the middle of the year. Maybe a little towards the end, I'm not sure, maybe April. Let's call it March or April. Woman has a baby carriage. She's going on the street. I see the car turning. Car is turning. Woman's ready to go on the street. I actually took the stop sign and put the stop sign in front of the baby carriage and pushed it against the baby carriage to prevent her from going in the street, and the car went by. Would the car have hit her? Who knows? But thank God we don't have to find out. This was actually kind of funny. This was in the morning this year. I like this one. This is in the morning of this past year, the second year. Woman has the baby in the baby carrier on your chest. I like that because you're easy to grab. You'll find out what I mean in a minute. And she's got a daughter on her leg. So there's 3 people: adult woman, baby in a baby carrier, and the child, the girl standing. Lights red. I come over here, and I motion them to come. The light turns green. They're here. I'm here. This woman motioned for me to get out of the way, and I wasn't going to call her bluff. I dove out of the way, grabbed them. She jammed her gas and flew. I grabbed the people. All the other motorists stopped for me, and I ran to the other side of the road. Grabbed them, ran to the other side of the road. This psychopathic woman would rather run me over and kill me than get to work or wherever the hell she was going 3 seconds too late. It would have taken me 3 seconds to get them across, but she wanted to go. So she was willing to jam the gas and fly right by as I dove out of the way, just to get where she was going 3 seconds too late. Yeah, guys, people are psychopaths. Okay. Now the next one is a high school girl. Now I'm not responsible for high school, but if I see a problem, I can't just be quiet about it. High school girl is standing here. School bus just dropped off. The bus now drops off and makes the turn up this way. But the first year the bus dropped off and made the turn going this way. Bus driver was a nice woman, I'm not going to fault her, but the road is so narrow that 99 times out of 100 the buses jump the curb. High school girl is standing right here. I'm over here. I tell her, you get back right now. She gets back, and the bus rolls up right where her foot would have been. Bus would have taken her foot off. That was early in the first year. Bus would have taken her foot off. Yeah, I'm sorry about holding the camera like this. I have no tripod. I got to hold it in my hand. This was funny. This happened the end of this year, maybe in May, late May, early June this year. No, early June. I'm on the sidewalk here. High school girl, or if not older, here. She looks up at the red light, and walks across the street. Both of her hands are on her mobile device, and she's texting. The light is blatantly red. Now, when I say blatantly red, I mean sometimes it's yellow turning red. This light was red, no questions asked. And I'm like right up against, right off the curb. See this white line here? This is right off the curb. You're in the street, this white line. I'm on the white line. She's walking across. This guy runs the red light and keeps on going. I go from here to here, and I actually grab her and yank her out of the way, give him the dirtiest, nastiest look in the world, and I move on. I moved her on. I actually shoved her. I actually grabbed her, yanked her out of the way, stopped him, and then I physically shoved her back and got her out of the way. This guy was a psychopath. He ran a red light, had a pedestrian there, and wasn't even going to bother stopping. This next one happened in the morning, about 2 weeks before Christmas. This area was entirely full of ice. I walked across the street, walked down to one of the bagel places, and saw the owner and his crew, and I said, listen, you got to clean your section of the hill because guys are going to get killed. I actually almost fell on my head. His guys come out and they start cleaning the hill. I'm there, and one of his guys warned me. He said, you got to be careful. He's a young guy, younger than me. He says, you got to be careful, bro. You can get hurt. I said, I got a bunch of kids coming here. I got to check the hill for safety. They shoveled and salted this entire section, and this is the hill going up. But the top third of the hill, which you can't see because it's off the paper, was not their property, and it was still covered in ice for the entire morning. See this white line here? I had to actually go up the white line, which means I'm in the street, grab the kids, and pull them down and hold them so we're physically in the road. My body is facing the traffic, and I'm holding on to them and bringing them down. I had parents with kids. I had several kids walking alone. One girl, you're going to see her later. She plays a big role in this. She lives in a building on top of the corner. She's coming down, and she actually made a couple of steps down, and I was across the street here. And I actually hollered up the hill at her. She's off paper. I hollered up the hill and said, stay there. She actually came down a couple of feet, and then she realized she couldn't go any further. I actually walked up the hill like this. I met her. She's up here. And I motioned for her to come, like a dog, like come. She walked sideways, like, you know, you mission feet together. She actually walked into my arms. I grabbed her. I held on to her right arm, her left arm with my left arm, my left hand, and my right arm at her side. My body was pressed very tightly against hers, and I walked her down, and I said, listen, okay, come back later on. You're going to wait for me. I'm going to help you down. Later on, it had melted, thank God, but I'm going up and down, up and down. All the adults I'm telling, walk on the off the sidewalk or go over the other side. All the kids, I got to go get them physically. Bring them down, and she was like freaking terrified. Now, Christmas Eve, my mother was on Facebook, and the police department, an individual had actually given me a shout out about God bless that man who helped all the kids down on that corner, blah, blah, blah. And I actually responded to the guy. I said, listen, man, I can't take all the credit. I said, if it wasn't for the auto shop crew cleaning 3/4 of this hill and the sidewalk in front of them, I would have been in the hospital that day. I said, the auto shop guy, and I told the guy this too, I said, the auto shop guy and his boys, they cleaned this area and they kept me out of the hospital. And in turn, I kept everyone else out of the hospital. I probably saved the city this day alone couple of $1 million in lawsuits. There would have been so many people falling on that hill that you could have literally walked down the people. If a kid walked down, if it wasn't for me keeping this area clear, there would have been so many injured people laying on the sidewalk with busted open body parts. You could have literally walked down the people. I must have kept dozens of people out of the hospital that day. Okay. Now, the other incident, we're on number 11 now. Bus is here. Kids are here. When the kids come off the bus, I have to stand in front of the road and they walk by. Back and forth, back and forth. Up the hill, I hear a fire truck. Woo! Fire truck. Here, another fire truck. That fire truck jumped over the lane, came down, and it's me and a whole bunch of kids here. I had to grab all the kids, yank them out of the way before the fire truck came. So, firemen, I'm the reason why you don't kill people. And yes, I know firemen. I gotta love firemen because, you know, they're there when I need them. I don't always need them. I pray I don't need them, but if I need them, they're gonna be there for me. So, same thing goes to the paramedics and the patrolmen. I don't always need you. I don't want you around, but if I need you, you're there. So, take care. This is a funny one. I'm over here maybe a month later after the first incident in the afternoon. That was the second year, by the way, this past year. And there's a whole bunch of patrolmen coming down. Coming down this way. And I'm stopping the traffic. About 5 or 6 of them. Maybe 5 minutes later, I'm over here. Woman in a baby carriage over here. I walk out, she walks out. Last patrolman is late. And I actually grabbed her by the wrist and I yanked her back as the patrolman came down. Someone says, was the patrolman going to stop? Did he have time to stop? I say, you know what? We weren't going to find out. So I yanked her out of the way and I probably saved her life. I don't know. Okay. There was that major incident. I made a video on it and all the locations were screwed up. Here are the proper locations. Laundromat, bar, abandoned. Pharmacy. Driving school, auto shop. Upper left, upper right, lower left, lower right. No more screw ups. We're going to go backwards and start with the third accident I prevented. Patrolman's coming down the road. He's in response. I'm over here. Drinking the cup of coffee the father gave me 5 minutes earlier. I'm finishing it. Another car is over here. This guy sees the yellow light. He wants to blow the light. I order him to stop. He stops. As he stops, patrolman comes by. If he didn't stop when he did, this would have been an accident and one of the cars might have come in and got me. So I saved the patrolman from having an accident with the motorist, probably saving my own life too because they would have hit me. Keep in mind that patrolman, wherever he was going, we would have needed to get another guy to respond for him. We would need to get ambulance for the patrolman, ambulance for the guy in the other car. So yeah, I know, this is like a freaking roller coaster. Up, down, up, down. I need a tripod. Yeah, I need a tripod that goes from the skyward view. My tripod only goes the frontward view. So, okay, now 5 minutes earlier, I'm over here. Car's coming. He wants to beat the light. I order the guy to stop. I walk in the middle of the road. Woman and her son. Guy blows through the light. I halt him. I actually threw the stop sign in front of the windshield. I actually held the stop sign up in front of the windshield. So he was either going to stop or crash into the windshield. Stopped him. Grabbed the woman and the kid. Moved them aside. Still drinking the coffee the guy gave me 5 minutes earlier. If I did not do that, that woman and her son would have been paralyzed for life. You ever see a guy that's paralyzed, all the problems he has to go through? You ever think about if you gotta do that? Well, this woman and her son don't have to think about that because of me. And her mother was in the hospital for an unrelated incident, and she would have been in the hospital with her mother and her son, and they would have been there through Mother's Day. Now, 5 minutes earlier, I'm over here. See a pregnant woman. I'm pro-life. I gotta protect the baby. I walk over here. Me and the pregnant woman go out. Son of a bitch runs the red light. I actually shove her back out of the way, hold the stop sign up to halt the guy, grab her, and drag her over here. She would have been hit. Baby would have died. That baby is going to be born this summer, assuming he or she's not born already. That baby owes their existence to me. That baby will be dead today. So, okay, now the guy that gave me the cup of coffee back in September, like the second week of school, I'm here. Whole bunch of kids walking back and forth. Father's got 3 kids. Youngest one breaks off. I hear the father yell, "Get back here." I actually move up and I step in front of the kid to stop him. Son of a bitch is not paying attention. He drives in an SUV. Had I not stepped in front of this kid, the kid would have walked into the road. Guy in the SUV would have not seen him, hit him and killed him, because the SUV, the kid was too small for it. He would have been below view. Mid this year, afternoon, I'm over here. Woman's walking down the street. Head down, texting, not paying any attention. Lights red here, she's gonna cross Main Street. Moving truck. Giant moving truck is here. He's got a green light. He's gonna turn right. Because the moving truck is so large, she's on the blind spot. The only way they're gonna see her is if the passenger of the moving truck opens the window, sticks his head out, and looks straight down. They're coming this way, she's coming this way. I'm over here. I halt the moving truck, tell her to get back. Moving truck comes through, she crosses on her own. If I did not tell this moving truck to get back, that woman would have been dead. Here's an adult woman that I'm not responsible for, but because she's not paying attention, I gotta take the reins. Now, this year in April, there was a fight outside of school 3 blocks away. And I see one of the kid, he's maybe 7th or 8th grade, walking around with his shirt off, holding his nose with his shirt. I know what's going on. Before I get to ask him any questions, he walks away. His little brother and sister come up to me and they say to me separately, "Where's our brother?" And I said, "What's going on here?" I saw the nose, what's going on? He had a fight. Okay. Was the fight in school or out of school? Out of school. If the fight's out of school, it's a police department matter. I have to report it now. So I tell the girl, "Listen, the fight already happened. Go home right now and tell your mother what happened." She goes home. A few minutes later, I have the kid's friends. These are friends and little brothers, so there's elementary to high school kids lined up here. At least 10 or 12 lined up. Pickup truck this way, sedan this way. Lights green. I knew this was coming. They literally tried to run in the road, all 10 or 12 of them, and I actually jumped back, threw my arm up and knocked them back. Car stopped. I yelled at them to get across the street, and then I called patrol. Patrol didn't make an arrest, but they did drive around, blaring the sirens and scared the shit out of everybody. You would have had 10 or 12 kids, because they were pumped up, they had just seen a fight, because they thought the fight was going to happen again. That's why I called patrol. They were going to run in the road on a green light with 2 cars coming. And the brother was a freshman in high school, and the little brother was an elementary school kid, so you got an elementary school kid and his high school brother. The next day I caught him on the top of the hill after school and I started chewing him out. I said, "Listen, man," I said, "you're high school, I expect better from you." I said, "You and all your friends would have been in the hospital with busted up bodies, bleeding organs, the whole 9 yards, and your little brother would have been dead." I literally told the kid, "You would have been dead if those cars hit you." Because the little brother was right on the outside where the pickup truck was. They were so excited about the fight that just happened and they wanted to see another one, they were going to run on the road and kill themselves. Yeah. That would have been such a horrific accident, you would have seen it on the news in your hometown. That's how bad it would have been. It would have been front page news. It would have been nasty. It would have been 10 or 12 kids hit at a single time. it would have been sick. Last two. Like I said, I'm not responsible for high school. I have a furniture store next to, here is the parking lot for the driving school. Next to this, off paper, was a fruit market, now it's a furniture store. Moving van there, delivering to the furniture store. Right there, parked, double parked, whatever. He's parked alongside the sidewalk. This truck is so fucking huge, the engine is over my head and I'm 5'9". Now when I have a big truck or something, I tell adults older than me, I'm going to peek my little head out first, make sure it's clear, then you're going to go. I got a high school girl here and her buddy behind her, standing one behind the other. And I told him, I said, when the light turns, I'm going to go first. Light turned red. She doesn't want to pay attention to me. So I just step out into the sidewalk. I threw my left arm in front of her face to the point where my elbow almost smacked in the friggin' nose. And at that exact second, two cars, boom, boom, beating the light. This girl would have stepped in front of the road, been hit by a car, run over, and the second car would have crashed into the first. You had to see the look that girl gave me. She gave me the look of frigging death warmed over twice. She knew that she would have been dead. Now comes the big one. Number one. The girl from the hill, the one I helped down the icy hill, she was holding on to me. She was really, yeah, that one. Her birthday is the same birthday as the anniversary of the police department, April 10th. I always get nervous thinking about this one. There are cars parked all along here, to the corner. When all the cars are parked here, along this way here, there's a blind spot. So when you're driving by, you can't see pedestrians. I'm here. Girl's here. As the light turns, she goes to step into the road out from between the cars. And this scumbag, I'm actually looking at the light, I'm not even looking at the girl. I hear the engine roar. And the car's coming. And she's about to step in front of it. I swing my arm back and I knock her out of the way. A fraction of a second before she was hit. The clock is cheering for me. Had I not done that, that girl would have been killed. She was 10 years old. When I got her across the street, I tried to ask her, if I wasn't there, would you have been okay? Would you have been able to stop yourself? But because I was stuttering so bad, all she was, I mean, I was stuttering like a lunatic. And I think about this every single day of my life. And I think about it every time I see her. She should be dead today. And even though she was the first of at least 6, possibly more, almost certainly more, that was the first time I saved a person who definitely would have been killed, no questions asked. And that proved to me that I had it in me to do it. Just think about that for a minute. Imagine when you were 10 years old, if someone did one thing for 1 second in time, and that one thing they did for 1 second that you weren't even paying attention to it, you actually watched it sail by. Imagine how different your life would have been if you had been killed at that moment. Parents that have lost children, and we've seen this before. I've seen a lot of parents lose their children. Think about all the horrors that a parent goes through when they lose a child. and think about all the horrors that I saved her mother, her cousins, her siblings, whoever. Just think about that for a second. How important it was that God had me there at that exact, God had me there. There is a God, and He had me there at that moment. God knew that He needed me there at that moment. And I have the best hearing in the world. I can hear a pin drop from a mile away. And I have reflexes like a cobra. And I needed to be at that exact point in time to save that girl's life. She's 12 years old now. She's going into 7th grade, which means I have her for another 2 years, or if I'm not there, my replacement. But just imagine that 1 second. And just think about your life. Does your life mean anything? Is your life worth anything? Has your life made a difference? Well, mine has. Every time I think about it, gives me chills to this day. Okay, and that's my top 20. Will I do a top 10 next year? You know, maybe I will. I'll do a top 10 next year, probably. Okay, thank you. Bye.